So this video talks about the IUPAC nomenclature of hydrocarbons. We know that predefined method of naming any compound or series is known as nomenclature. For chemical compounds, IUPAC nomenclature is used, and how do we expand this? International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. It's nothing but a set of predefined rules which are used so that when we move across countries or continents, we are talking in the same language as far as the chemical namings are concerned. So we talk about the simplest hydrocarbons first, the straight chain hydrocarbons. A simple 5-chained carbon, straight chain. So for 5 carbon atoms, it means pent, and since it is a single bonded hydrocarbon, the suffix is ane, and hence the name pentane for it. This is how we name it. How about the branched chain hydrocarbons? We number them like this. Then there is one chloro group at position 3, one methyl group at position 2. So friends, C comes first in the alphabet, then M. So C is given preference while writing the name, right? And the IUPAC name comes out to be 3-chloro-2-methyl pentane. So what are the rules for naming them? First and foremost, find the longest continuous carbon chain. Identify and name the groups attached to this chain. Numbering should start at the end nearest to the substituent group. Then we designate the location of each group, right? Then we assemble the name, listing them in alphabetical order, right? This is what we did just now. So let us try naming a few cycloalkanes now. By now we know what cycloalkanes are. The cyclic compounds of carbon are known as cycloalkanes. So friends, in cycloalkanes, the numbering starts from the ring atom which is substituted, right? The carbon which has a functional group attached to it is the carbon from where numbering is started in a cycloalkane. So, couple of rules. For a mono-substituted cycloalkane, the ring supplies the root name and so location number is unnecessary. Let us say we have only one, substitute on the chain. We know that has to be at position 1, so we don't need to write down the number in the nomenclature. If the alkyl substituent is large or complex, the ring may be named as a substituent group on an alkane, right? So, let us say we have a cyclic ring and one of the substituents is, let us say, a huge complex 2,3-dimethyl cycloheptane, 2,3-dimethyl hexane kind of a alkyl group. In that case, we will treat the cyclic hydrocarbon as a substitute and the straight chain as the main chain. Rule number 3. If different substituents are present on the ring, let us say we have more than one substituent, chlorine at ortho position and let us say amino group at meta position, then they are listed in alphabetical order, right? First cited substituent is assigned to carbon number 1. So see which one comes first in the alphabetical order and name it as 1. Rule number 4. The numbering of ring carbon continues in a direction that affords the second substituent a lower possible location number. So rule does not specify that once you have named one carbon, go in the clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction. Go in any direction. The direction should be such that the second substituent gets a lower number as compared to the other direction. The name is assembled, listing groups in alphabetical order and giving each group a location number. We know di, tri, tetra are used if we have several groups of the same kind. For example, dimethyl, right? And they are not considered when alphabetizing, which means, let us say I have a two methyl groups at two different positions and one ethyl group at some other position. So this should not mean that I consider the D of the dimethyl to come earlier in the alphabetical series, and hence name the compound as dimethyl and then ethyl. E of ethyl comes prior to M of methyl in alphabetical series, and that is how we should arrange the substituents. Let us take a few examples. Give IUPAC name of this compound. Let us first expand this compound. So the vertices show different alkyl groups. This is how it looks, carbon, and 3 methyl groups attached to it. So only one substitute here. This gets the number 1. Now how many carbon atoms in the ring? 1, 2, let's start from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which means it's an heptane, right? Substitute is tertiary butyl, so complete name is tertiary butyl cycloheptane. Draw the structural formula for 3-chloro-1,1-dimethyl cyclohexane. So we have a chlorine at position 3, 2 methyl groups at position 1, and it's a ring with 6 carbon atoms. How does it look like? It's a cyclo compound with 6 carbons in the ring. Position 1, 2 methyl groups. Position 3, there is a chloro group. This is how it looks like. Position 1, methyl groups. Position 2, chloro groups. Right? So this was a quick video on the naming of cycloalkane. Please feel forward to post more questions on topcoaching.com under the section nomenclature, and I'll be answering them pretty fast. Thank you for your time.
Okay friends, let us now try giving names to these haloalkanes. So to name them according to IUPAC. Rule number 1, as with all hydrocarbons, identify the longest carbon chain, one which is having maximum number of carbon atoms. Rule number 2, number the carbon atoms. Start from a place where substituents get least possible number, right? Rule number 3, if more than one substituent, list them in alphabetical order. What if equal length chains compete, right? There is a one substituent chain which is as long as the main chain, the straight chain. First priority, the chain having maximum number of side chains would be considered. Then substituents should have the lowest numbers. Then chain having the least branched chains should be considered as the longest chain. Okay, let us get into actual naming of the hydrocarbons, haloalkanes. CH2CH, CH2CH2Br. So here, first of all, 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon atoms. So root would be but. Functional group is an alkene, and hence the suffix would be -ene. Then the substituent here is a bromine, so prefix would be bromo. Now since bromine is a substituent and alkene is the main group, so main group gets priority, and hence we will be doing numbering from here 1, 2, 3, 4, and hence bromine gets number 4. So the IUPAC name would be 4-bromo-but-1-ene. Okay, so this is nothing but 3 methyl groups, CH3C, 1 carbon over here, CBr. So here functional group is an alkane, so suffix would be -ane. What is the longest continuous chain? 3 carbon atoms, right? Hence root would be prop, substituent is bromo. There is another substituent, methyl. So this is the longest chain that is there. Both bromine and methyl are on number 2. Hence, the IUPAC name would be 2-bromo 2-methyl propane. Okay, let us give one more name to these alkanes. CH3, CH2, CH2Cl, a simple one. Functional group is an alkane, so suffix shall be N. 3 carbon atoms, longest chain having 3 carbon atoms, hence the root is prop. Then substituent is a chlorine, and since there is no functional group over here, right? So naming would start from the substituent, and hence naming starts from here 1, 2, 3, 4, and the name is 1-chloropropane. Okay, now let us name some cyclic halogens. So this is a benzene with 2 substituents. There is a carbon atom over here and of course a methyl group over here. So since ethyl group comes first, right? So it would be named 1-ethyl 4-fluorobenzene. Now here a chloro and a methyl. A methyl would be here, right? A chloro and a methyl group is attached to the benzene, and hence the name would be chloromethyl benzene. So with this we come to the end of IUPAC naming of alkanes. For any questions, of course, you can visit topcoaching.com and ask doubts related to that.
Friends, now that we have understood what alcohols are and how are they classified, let us see how do we name them. Like, how do we call a particular alcohol? With what common name and with what IUPAC name do we refer these alcohols to? So, let us say this is an alcohol, right? What we do is we identify the hydrocarbon, which was, from which this alcohol was made. So, this is the hydrocarbon, right? If you remove this OH group and replace it with H, this is the hydrocarbon. And what is this? This is nothing but 3 carbon atoms corresponds to propane or propyl. For the common name, all that we have to do is just suffix alcohol to it and we get the common name, that is propyl alcohol. Right? How about IUPAC name? In case of IUPAC name, what you do is you take the base hydrocarbon, remove the E and replace it with ol. So this compound will be called propanol, right? This one was a simple IUPAC name. We have rules for naming polyhydric alcohols, and branched chain alcohols and so on. Let us see what they are. First and foremost, longest carbon chain is numbered starting at the end nearest to hydroxyl group. For example, this is an alcohol, so we will start numbering from where? From the end nearest to hydroxyl group, which is from here. Number it 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have 4 carbon atoms over here, right? So this is nothing but butanol. Rule number 2 is E of alkane is retained and ending OL is added. So let us say I take this alcohol, which is the alkane. This is propane, right? And so it should be propanol, but there is one catch over here. This OH is attached to carbon number 2, right? So at which position is our OH group? 2. Hence the IUPAC name is 2-propanol. Naming of phenols. We know that simplest hydroxy derivative of benzene is phenol. So how do we name those cyclic alcohols? We use the prefix cyclo, like the aliphatic alcohols. For the phenols also, the numbering starts from the OH group itself, right? So in this case, since we prefix with cyclo, and we get cyclohexanol. Now here, numbering starts from OH. We have a methyl group at position 2, so we name this phenol as 2-methyl cyclopentanol. Okay, now let us name this alcohol. Of course, we start numbering from the OH group. We know the bases of phenol 1, 2, 3 and then 4. So this one is 3-chloro-4-methyl phenol. Now we come to the polyhydric alcohols. First and foremost, what are polyhydric alcohols? Alcohols containing more than one hydroxy group are known as polyhydric alcohols. So now the number of these OH groups is indicated by adding the prefix di, tri, etc. before all, right? Because let us say we have a propanol, so we just have one hydroxy group. Now if I have one more OH group attached to second position, I have two hydroxy groups, which is called a polyhydric alcohol. Let us see how we name it. Here we have one OH group attached to carbon number 1, another one to carbon number 2. So how do we name it? We call it 1, 2 hyphen ethane for the hydrocarbon and diol. Why di? Because we have two hydroxy groups. Okay, let us name this alcohol now. First, let us expand it. You know these vertices are for the corresponding carbon atoms, right? Each vertex represents a carbon atom. So when I expand it, I get CH3, CH2 for this one, CH for this one, CH again here and CH2 here. Right? This is a shorter form of the structural formula. So let us see how I number it. This is, I start numbering from here 1, 2. Why from here? Why not from here? Because I start numbering from the carbon atom nearest to OH group. So if I start numbering from here, OH group comes at position 4. Whereas if I start numbering from here, OH group comes at position 3. So this is preferable, point of numbering. 3, 4, 5 and 6, right? So what do I see? I see a hydroxyl group at number 3 and I see an ethyl group at number 4. So friends, how do I name it? OH group is at which position? Number 3. Ethyl group is at which position? Number 4. Hence IUPAC name is 4-ethyl 3-hexanol. Why ethyl first and hexanol later? Because the general IUPAC rules say that we have to do the alphabetic order of groups. Okay. Now we come to nomenclature of ethers. How do we get a common name of a ether? Take the name of the alkyl or aryl group. Write them as separate words in alphabetical order. I will just take an example. Add the word ether at the end. For example, I take this. So what are the two alkyl groups over here? Methyl and methyl. Both are methyl, right? So I have to do methyl. Again write a methyl and then an ether. So I write dimethyl ether. Let us name this one C6H5OCH3. What is C6H5? It's phenyl, right? So methyl phenyl ether. Why? Because M is alphabetically earlier to P, right? So we name it methyl phenyl ether. How about IUPAC naming of ethers? In the IUPAC naming, we identify the smaller hydrocarbon first. Then we remove ane of that hydrocarbon and replace it with oxy. Then we identify the larger hydrocarbon and write it down as such after the oxy part. Let us see